Hey guys, thanks for listening to The Cynical Nerd. Please keep in mind that we do not avoid spoilers for any of our topics, whether they are current or past media. Listen at your own risk. We're back. We came back. It's been a while.
Yeah, stuff has happened. Children were born.
Children were born. Rejoice.
What did you said you were like, every time I would talk about having a kid, I would say something like, the sun and moon parteth and the sea rise. I don't know. You said something about like, I made it sound epic every time.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I blacked out.
I trust you. I trust you enough to trust myself that I said that.
I trust you implicitly. And it's nice to see you, as our avid podcast listeners will attest to. We don't talk outside of recording, so everyone knows that we're not really good, super duper best friends, and I don't know what's happening in most facets of your life at most times of the day.
Yeah, even we don't even talk about when to meet up for the podcast. We just, one of us sits down and is like, all right, I have to wait for him to get here because no communication whatsoever.
I give him 2 half-hour blocks a week at random days, and I tell him, you got to find me. And then
he tells a third-party friend that, and that friend tells me, so that there's no direct conversation, because that would break the rule TM. Yeah, we don't the rule TM. It's been about a month. Yeah, about a month. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and a limited window in which to talk about it because I had a baby, another one. You did.
I'm tired. But we had it. We did it.
Yeah. I was there too. They actually let me in the room. It was really educational. Yeah. I feel like we're all a little bit closer now.
Honey, can you tell Derek to get on the other side of the curtain? Oh, no, not again.
Hey, I did what you asked. I said my mom couldn't be here. You didn't say anything about Derek.
Yeah. Or the rest of your extended family. Yeah, that's popcorn. Relax. I told him I could bring in small snacks. It's baby number 2, Archer. David Reed is here. Sorry, I'm giving out everybody's. You want a social too?
He's a beautiful little boy. I got to tell you,
he's a cutie. He's honestly, I have to keep it real with you. Mm-hmm. It has affected me personally, the father, far less round 2, and it's mostly because, we have Grayson. Mm-hmm. Which means that he still has to go to daycare and he has to go to grandparents, and Sam's out of work. I'm already back to work. That means that so my day to day has changed meaningfully, but not throwing around my sleep schedule. I just have to get up earlier, help get him ready, pick ups, drop offs. I was handling baths and going to bedtime and stuff like that. I've basically become a single parent to Grayson. I'm kidding. Sam's been doing a ton of fucking work. She is, again, we talked about it before, but a reminder of the incredible, just sheer, I don't know how she does it. There's been nights where I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, she let me get a full 7-8 hours of sleep. And I'm like, hi, honey, how'd Archer sleep? And she's like, well, not really.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, you saint of a woman. I don't know how she does it, but
Veronica's always done that for me too, and I always feel like a piece of shit for it.
It doesn't matter.
And like, I'm probably gonna unknowingly come across like a, I don't know, like a dickhead or something. But the fact of the matter is, like, when I wake him up in the middle of the night, he's like, "You're not the one that I wanted." Yeah, that's not who I was screaming for. So I think she knows that, and she's like, "I'm just gonna head this off."
Yeah.
But those days are kind of behind us. He mostly sleeps through the night at this point anyway. So, but I know what you mean.
But I mean, because I'm back to work, so she's been dealing with the overnight stuff a lot.
And they've got the titty milk. We don't got that. We got the titty, but just no milk. Titty sans milk.
I got plenty of titty, okay? Titty SM, titty sans milk. Okay, we have, so Star Wars Celebration just wrapped up, which is fitting. We are a nerd podcast first and foremost, so we have some stuff to talk about. I'm going to propose something drastic.
Okay.
Never before seen in the world.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, just maybe, we start with the trailers today.
Let's do it.
Because I want a lot of our weekend review stuff could take it or leave it. Like, some of it's cool, some of it's, but the trailers are brand new. They're fresh in everybody's heads. Because we're working with limited time constraints, I want to make sure we are able to talk about them. And I was thinking like maybe like trailers, touch on our main topics, and then get to the news with whatever time we have left.
Yeah, let's do it.
Welcome to episode 95 of the
Hello.
Cynical Nerd.
96, right?
96.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm going to blame
You
Baby
fucked it
Brain.
up. Start it over.
Really? Okay, wrap the whole thing. So anyway, so Archer's here. I get a baby. No, I'm just kidding. My buddy with Derek, as per usual. And how are you doing? I didn't, how is his life?
That's okay. I'm doing good. I'm rocking. I'm rolling. We got some tubes putting in his ear holes.
Yeah.
We got his adenoids out. They told us he was going to be a insufferable bitch for like a week, and that did not happen. He's been
That's
a champ,
great.
And he's incredible. He's great.
And when you told me he was getting his adenoids out, of course, I immediately looked it up because I worry about your son as if he's my own.
Yeah.
And it's called an adenoidectomy.
Adenoidectomy.
And I was like,
that's
an awkward word to say. It
yeah,
just
I'm
feels
here for
like
my adenoidectomy.
It feels like the guy who got a C in English made that word up. You know what I mean? It's like that doesn't flow off the tongue very well.
Yeah,
but
it's not. We tripped over the words when we were dropping off. We're here for dad noise. It was pretty embarrassing.
Anectomy. Adele Dazeem.
No, but what's crazy is the whole idea is, I know we're trying to get through a quick episode, so I'll keep this very short. The whole idea is all the swelling up there holds all this fluid in. The fluid makes him sick, whatever. So since then, first of all, he has this clarity where like he's just like sharper. His eyes are more. He's like standing upright more. And you think about when you're sick, you're kind of really like puffy.
Yeah.
And, like, And but beyond just that, dude, like he's had. I figured there's just all this fluid in there, and then you get the source of the swelling out. So it's just been like drippage, and not like I'm sick drippage. Like everything else is fine. I think there's just this slow leak of like all the shit that's been up there coming out. But I mean, he feels great. He looks great. We're super happy.
Good. That's very good. I also didn't even know what I've heard the term adenoids before, but I was like, what the fuck are adenoids?
I'm still not 100% on what they are. Like I kind of get it, but
from what I took from the quick Googling I did, they're glands that are there as a child to help fight off infection and illness, bacteria.
Yeah.
And then they just sort of like go away on their own.
Yeah.
And when they're called like a vestigial organ, like they don't serve a purpose in adults. So it's like totally fine to just yeet them out of the body.
I think
if
they're
they
kind of like
trouble.
tonsils for your nose. Like I think the same thing that tonsils do for your mouth hole, which is a medical term, is what the adenoids do with your nose holes.
And if they're tonsils and these go in your nose, we'll call them nonsils because that's
right. Now they've gone
adenoids. There. Whoever failed that one. Yeah. Adenoid sounds like a failed Altoid, like the stupid cousin of Altoids. You want an adenoid?
No, I don't want
adenoid. Adenoid. Ew, it's a rate 8 Altoid. Okay. So there's some stuff happened, Derecho.
It's true.
And you're right. This is indeed episode 96. We're back. Shorter episodes for the immediate future, just until I don't have a newborn, as I've been calling him, a newborn. He's only 3 weeks old still, a little newborn. He's adorable.
A very new newborn.
Very new newborn, a new newborn. But we have Star Wars Celebration just happened, so obviously we have stuff to talk about. This first trailer that we're not going to start off with Star Wars. We're going to start off with the trailers that have come over the last 3 to 4 weeks. Ones that really stuck with me because I deleted, believe it or not, quite a few out of here. As I was like, that's not really relevant. We actually had trailers that were sitting in here, and I'm like, well, that came out, so I'm not going to talk about the trailer for it. We have a couple shows that we like. There's there's a Marvel and a DC thing. There's a super duper cool Across the Spider-Verse trailer. Then we have the Celebration trailers, and of course there's the 2 Star Wars ones, some Star Wars Vision stuff, and I feel like I'm just gonna meld together the Star Wars trailers along with the Star Wars news, because there's articles about the future of the Star Wars universe, most of which is exciting, some of which is not so much, at least for me personally, and I don't know how you feel about, I would say like a solid 70% of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's like the literal number. Yeah.
Yeah. And the first 2 things here are informational. Barry season 4 has an official teaser. The teaser's fine. I don't know what's going on because I haven't been watching the show. I know you have been.
Yeah.
It comes out April 16th, so I left it in here because it's 6 days away. If you want to catch up on Barry, I am because Star Wars Celebration just happened, I decided to make myself watch Bad Batch, even if I wasn't 100% like into it.
I'm gonna watch it too. I've got a laundry list of Star Wars shit to watch.
And I just started season 2, and I gotta say, well, we'll talk about it with the Star Wars stuff later. But yeah, that's the only obstacle in my way from going back to Barry. It's next on my list. I'm gonna watch it, and it's a great show. And I think that David Hayter killed it, and he deserves
David Hayter.
Hayter, yeah, David Hayter killed it and deserves all the praise in the world. And yeah.
Why can't I think of his name? Because I want to say, don't you mean Bill Burr? But it's Bill Hader. There it is. Okay.
It's Bill,
yeah, no, Barry's a great show because it's just about a character who just gets worse. Typically in your show, you have a character who like progresses and does the right thing. But your MC and Barry just continues to be a shittier person, but the people around him sort of learn to grow around that. And I think I'd say it's a show that surprised me more than any other show has, where like, it starts off as Bill Hader. He's the funny guy, and it retains a sort of sense of humor throughout. But there are just some fucking character growths that happen in that show. Of course, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. That just like floored me, like just really filled me with a sense of like bittersweet appreciation. If you haven't watched the show, please watch the show. It's so good. I was going to say the benefit of Barry is that it comes out one episode a week, but you have to get caught up. So that would not be the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, go watch Barry. Please go watch Barry, for the love of God. Incredible.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to go watch Barry.
I was appealing to our viewers, but also you. But that me pleading.
We don't do this for our viewers. We do this for
exactly. We can't talk unless we're recording, as we've established many times.
This relationship's the only one that matters. So okay, April 16th, Barry, go watch it. I'm going to watch it. We'll talk about it probably the next time we cast a pod together. The next one is just a piece of informational news. Again, we're blowing through the stuff that we don't want to spend an overly long amount of time on. Mm-hmm. Starfield has a release trailer. Just thought it was worth mentioning because Bethesda.
Yeah.
Starfield is going to be coming out September 6th, 2023. So, at this point, 5 months away, that's not that crazy. They showed a very mysterious launch trailer. There's a lot of weird Cosmos stuff going. Listen, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. We've talked about this before. If it can fulfill the promises that it's making, which, spoiler alert, I don't think that it will. Wait, this way. Don't think that it will. Then I'm going to be very happy with it.
Yeah.
And if it's exactly what I expect from Bethesda, to be kind of a mess at launch and then maybe live up to the promises later down the road, then it'll be disappointing, but I'll probably still play it, to be honest with you.
I was going to say my most toxic trait is that I'm going to play this game. I love to talk shit on Bethesda and Fallout and Skyrim and Oblivion and how janky they are. But there's something about that formula as redone and painted over as it's become. I just love it. I don't know. I'm a bad person.
Yeah. On top of that, I love space. So it's
right. And so it's like taking something I know that even though it's flawed that I like and putting it in a new fucking setting that I love is kind of,
Bethesda basically gave me the nickname Chinese Finger Trap and then dared me to tell them they were wrong. They're gonna turn me into it. You know what I'm saying? Both ends.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if Chinese Finger Trap is a shitty thing to say in 2023. I'm actually not sure.
We should go to an arcade and see if it's called a Gary Johnny lock now or something. If they just totally bastardized
a Chad finger lock. We'll call it a Chad finger lock. You heard it here first, Cynical Nerd, or the cynical finger lock. That's also a sexual position.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, it feels really cool too. Okay, September. Next up, we're rolling. This one actually has premiered already. And I only left this in here because I am tickled to hear your thoughts about this. We haven't talked about this at all.
Yeah.
It's a trailer called Digman. It's basically an Indiana Jones parody from Andy Samberg and Neil Campbell. Premiered March 22nd on Comedy Central. I really love Lonely Island and their parody music, and Andy Samberg's brand of comedy tends to get me. Even if the premise can start off kind of jarringly stupid or jarringly silly. And it's kind of the perfect description of my reaction to this trailer. At first, I was kind of eye rolling. And then by the end, it had a couple of jokes in there that I really liked. And I'm going to watch the show, at least the first episode or two, and see if I like it. And what about you? Hate it?
I'd like to watch it. I didn't hate it, but I'm not like Andy Samberg is kind of annoying to me. Like it's not that I think he's a hack or untalented or something. Like every now and then he's in something I think he's really great in.
Yeah.
I thought he was great in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
I think he's a good writer. I know he does a lot of like behind the camera type stuff, and he contributes to the industry in more ways than just being the guy in front of the camera being goofy. And I appreciate people who kind of like are well-rounded like that. So yeah, I'd like to watch it. I agree. Like when the first thing started off, I was like, oh, another crass Rick and Morty dynamic type thing. And then there were some pretty funny jokes throughout, and I thought I should probably give this a try. Yeah. That's it. Next thing. Digman. It's a weak title.
I'm sorry. I have to give
title.
I have to give a massive shout out to the one of the first jokes that really destroyed me was realizing that they were singing like an epic slowed down version of All Stars by Smash Mouth, because we've trashed trailers doing that, and he's like, the only thing I'm into is carbon dating, and then it goes to him like getting back into a lab, and you hear, the world is gonna roll me.
Oh, yeah.
And I just started like immediately. I was like, okay, there's something here that's warranting my attention at least a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're right. Moving on. This is a really quick and random one. We talked a couple weeks ago about a RoboCop game called Rogue City. There's a gameplay overview. I don't have a ton to say about this. It's from a developer called Nacon, Nacon. It's coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S. I don't think it says September 2023, but it doesn't have a date yet, which I got to be honest with you, probably get pushed. I don't know who this developer is. I don't know what else they've done, but my entire takeaway is that this felt like an indie dev's version of Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That something's missing.
Yeah.
And like the premise is cool. I like the idea of being literally, he's a video game character come to life. Like, think about, he's got plate armor. He can be rebuilt and fixed. He doesn't die with one bullet. He's got a built-in heads-up display, for Christ's sake. Like, he fits the bill. There's something about this footage that doesn't fit. Like, you could tell the gameplay was set down a very straight, predefined path in this gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
And I know that's a common thing, but there's a trick to make it feel like it's not that way. And this is very clearly on rails. This whole
was very lifeless. I agree.
Yeah.
I think if you had never played Cyberpunk, you'd probably go like, oh, cool. But since there's nothing wrong with taking a formula and sort of doing it in your own way. But it's just like when that's the only thing you have to offer, like, oh, our aesthetics, just like that other one that was notoriously a bad launch. It's kind of like, it's a weird way to market your game.
Yeah.
I also think like all like RoboCop beyond the first two, like any kind of remake or whatever, the one mark that they miss is just like the social commentary and the sort of like satire of it. And like none of that was in this, which is a little, I don't know, like I know it wasn't a story trailer. It was like a gameplay showcase, but I feel like you have to hit that mark in order to get that's why those movies are so memorable, because they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's like it looked cool, but just too derivative in what they displayed to really say one way or the other. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's there's something off about it, and I can't quantify it necessarily, but it feels I'm gonna go with icky. It feels icky.
Doo-doo.
Okay.
Icky doo-doo.
All right, superhero trailers, and then we're done. So I'll do the Marvel ones first. Secret Invasion, which we've known is coming for a while. Sam Jackson's going to reprise his role as Nick Fury. Secret Invasion is a very famous comic book storyline. Features the shapeshifter enemies, the Skrulls, and how they in the comic storyline is actually quite good. It's they can make themselves look like whoever they want, which Invasion of the Body Snatchers, like there's a really good terrifying premise there if you can do it right, where these guys could be anybody. In the comics, they impersonate superheroes, they impersonate government officials, all kinds of shit to really make sure the plot's like a who's real, who's not type thing. I gotta tell you, I got a real good vibe out of this trailer. Now listen, I'm saying that as the person of this duo that thinks Winter Soldier's a good film, and I feel like the vibe here reminds me of that vibe, like a more political thriller in the Marvel universe. as someone who notoriously didn't like it all that much, I don't know how this trailer spoke to you, but I like the idea of the Skrulls. I thought this trailer seemed cool. I feel like this is a more serious tone, at least this trailer, for a Marvel thing. And I saw a lot of people praising that online. I don't necessarily know if it's the serious tone that I love so much, or more like the political thriller espionage. Like, it's not something they do a whole lot, and I liked it. And it comes out June 21st. How'd you feel about it?
I don't think it's a surprise that we had this great conversation off pod. Don't tell me that. Don't mention that about like superhero fatigue and is it real and and I don't think it's like any surprise that me, like a lot of other people, I feel it. I felt it first. I was there first. But despite that, I actually I have this. There's certain tropes that even when they're overdone, I like them. And like the homecoming trope is always something I've really loved, or like the return of the king, and seeing like Nick Fury like beaten down, and he looks like he's got this like scraggly, coat on. He's not even wearing his eye patch. He's got this like beanie on, and just like I think it's going to be a story about him like coming back into his former glory in order to ward off this invasion. You see throughout, he kind of looks like, I think towards the end he actually is in his like standard Nick Fury getup.
Yeah.
But he just sort of has this defeated sort of hunch look towards the beginning. And that's just something I love to see. I don't know, like Dark Knight Rises. I love just like that I'm not done yet sort of character hook. I just always think that there's just something rousing about that. No, we'll see. Nothing else really about it was I'll agree that it seems a little more serious and not so like Goofy Bird, quippy jokes every 14 seconds, which is encouraging. I'd certainly love to check it out, but I was actually surprised. Like I kind of eye rolled when I clicked play, and then it actually kind of surprised me. I thought it looked, like it might be something.
There's Ben Mendelsohn who plays Talos in this. He was in Captain Marvel. Returns as the Skrull Talos ally to Sam Jackson, but in a twist in Miss Marvel, he was part of the good sect of the Skrulls who were just trying to seek refuge. They were, in trouble. And I don't remember if that's a comic book thing. As far as I remember, comic books like to paint entire species with one brush. They were just the bad people invaders in the comics, and that was it. So I thought it was cool they gave him a little bit of depth there. Yeah. And there's the trailer's not overly flashy. There are a couple cool shots that lend themselves really well to like fantasy mixed with political thriller. And there's the shot where Talos, Ben Mendelsohn, is in a room to confront somebody, and the camera goes in close on him, like grabbing his lapels, and then it stops and it pans out, and everybody in the room looks like him because they were all fucking and I thought that was really cool. And I think that if they do stuff like that, it'll keep the show feeling like, I would say, unique, maybe in the Marvel space, and cool. And I think it has a chance to be great. Who knows if it will be? We'll see if they stick to landing. But that's relatively soon, next couple of months. June 21st. Speaking of, I'm just going to go to the Spider-Man trailer because it's also Marvel, and then we'll do the DC stuff. Across the Spider-Verse got its official second trailer, doing exactly the thing that Derek loves the most, which is an intro to a trailer right before the actual trailer plays.
Trailer, yeah. I
mean, what are we going to do? This trailer looks incredible. Yeah. The animation styles are off the charts fucking good. I don't have anything to say because it looks so good. Like, it's like, no duh. It's going to be cool. Like,
I don't think anyone's not pumped for this. I mean, it's like, it's just the art style, like whatever like novelty the first one had, they've somehow like included that and expanded on it. Like it's still unique somehow while retaining like its original sort of soul. It's like really, really impressive what they've done with it. But I love that all they're giving you is the premise, and you know kind of what the movie's going to be about. They're sort of setting up characters' motives a little bit, but there's no like giving you a hint of the final showdown. And like, I don't know. I just love that there's some that's sort of veiled in mystery. Obviously, the fucking Uncle Ben joke at the end was hilarious. Like, I looked at my uncle. Let me guess. He died.
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious. Yeah, I can't wait for it.
Yeah. So here's what I'm confused about. the sort of storyline they paint out, at least in this trailer, and maybe I misinterpreted it, but was that, Spider-Gwen Stacy comes to pick him up, and there's a force of interdimensional, I guess, Spider-Men led by Miguel O'Hara, who's Spider-Man 2099. And they're all, it seems like his job is to kind of like pull the strings. No pun intended. I swear I didn't mean that one. Although I'm not mad at it. So don't mistake my lack of ownership over it for disdain. It's not. I love it. It looks like he's kind of pulling the strings to make sure that every Spider-Man's destiny goes the way it's supposed to. And Miles is like, let me join this team. And then the rest of the trailer is kind of like, he's like, you can't, because you haven't lost the thing that all Spider-Men have to lose in order to do what you have to make the choice between saving one life or saving everybody. And I don't know how true that lands for me. I know the circumstances are a little different, but he did lose his uncle Aaron to the Kingpin. He got murked. So I know like he hasn't lost a parent. I guess the way they posit it, if that's the thing they're trying to use for the story linchpin, is that like, these Spider-Men had to choose between taking out the guy, right in his face. They're looking at the guy who killed Uncle Ben or whoever it may be. And they have a choice of either taking that guy out and basically becoming a villain and going to prison or whatever's going to happen, or forgiving him and then becoming a hero and learning that lesson. And I guess that's what they're trying to do, because the Uncle Aaron thing didn't really give Miles that lesson. I don't know. Yeah. That was a little like gray to me, a little gray area. But they were like, you haven't like lost the thing that and I was like, well, but his uncle, it was kind of like.
So there is a shot though of his dad like hanging on a plank, and the plank breaks, and then like the next line is him saying like, no, I can save everybody, or something to that effect. So that's what I'm thinking. It is that like the father figure is his actual dad. Yeah. And he either has an opportunity to say, I don't know, maybe. But again, that's what we're talking about. They didn't give the whole goddamn movie away in the trailer. That's right. A plus for me. So the writing in this trailer is great. The line by Miles where he goes, everybody's trying to tell me how my story's supposed to end. He's like, I think he's like, nah, I'm gonna do me or something like that. I'm gonna do it my way. And I was just like, oh, I can't wait. Do it your way. I'm here. I'm gonna eat some popcorn and project your heroism onto my own sad existence. I want to be Spider-Man. Okay, that comes out June 2nd, next couple of months. Again, art styles insanely beautiful. Yeah, I would imagine the level of Easter egg in this is going to be through the roof. In this trailer alone's already kind of through the roof. But moving over to the other side of the fence, DC, we got the first trailer for Blue Beetle, which comes out in August on August 18th. This is one of the last movies coming out on DC before the James Gunn slate starts to take over. There's this, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Shazam 2 just came out. Did not do well, by the way, financially. Reviews were fine. Kind of basically everyone calling it like, well, it's about the same as the first one. It's okay. Financially not doing well, which may be the final nail in the coffin for that. We'll see. Who knows what's going to happen. Gunn has previously said the door's open for these movies to continue forward in the DC. Apparently, whatever's going to happen in this Flash movie with the universe, there's going to be room to bring these people back if they fit in somewhere. This is the kind of character I could see Gunn wanting to weave in somewhere down the road. He's got an interesting origin. It's a little bit Iron Man. What else? I don't know. It's mostly Iron Man. Yeah. It's basically like Iron Man meets Venom. It's like this alien suit that he doesn't really know. There's a cool line in the trailer about it being like a super weapon that could be sent to destroy Earth or something. He doesn't really know where it comes from, but it's this young kid named Jamie Reyes. Gets the scarab. There's a lot of cool nods to the original not the original, but the most famous Blue Beetle, Ted Kord. He goes to Kord Industries to apply for a job, gets hit with this. And before I ask how you felt about this trailer, because we already kind of sidebarred it again, I know they're not supposed to know we talk, is that I thought the transformation into Blue Beetle was done really cool. Yeah. It was like a horror movie. In fact, I saw some people put it side by side with like horror movie panels from like The Thing. People are just getting slammed up on the ceiling.
That, and I thought the combat looked cool. Whereas you expect guy in suit with powers to just kind of all feel samey. I don't know what it was. If it was the way it was shot, or the cinematography, I don't know. It felt cool watching him like kick ass. It felt poppy. It felt like, I don't know. Kinetic is probably the best word.
I agree. And I think like it did have its own, and this is something you and I talked about. It had its own sense of identity is the only way I can describe it. Like, even though it's like a guy in a suit fighting men in other suits, it's like, it didn't really feel like the Marvel. It didn't feel like Suitman. DC. It was just sort of Suitmans. We got to find the bad Suitmans. But despite that, this actually did fall under the like superhero fatigue umbrella for me, where I was just like, even though it looks cool, like if this trailer came out 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh, cool, like a new sort of take on this, at least in its look and, like I said, like identity. Who the story is more than certainly going to be the exact same as every other superhero movie, but I'm just kind of like, it's hard for me to be excited for it. It's not that I won't watch it when it's totally free and accessible for me to do so, but it's not anything I'm going to be like clamoring to go see.
Yeah. Speaking of, I heard Sam 2 is going to be available to view sometime soon.
Yeah. Super soon.
Oh, where's my super suit? I don't know why that triggered my memory of that film. This comes out August 18th. I am not going to do the actors in this film the disservice of me trying to pronounce their names, but the young
George
fellow
Lopez, we know that one.
Wow,
Done.
that's an easy. Got it. Mariduena, sure. The kid who stars in Cobra Kai, the YouTube series that was cheesy, but also the writing had no business being as decent as it was. He's the star, and I'm actually happy for him. He does a pretty good turn in that show, even when it's cheesy. He comes across as earnest. And I feel like that's the line you have to straddle when doing something like this film. So we'll see how it looks. But his first name is how do you pronounce the X? His name is XOLO. It's like, is it Z? Is it Zolo?
Yeah, Zolo.
You don't mess with the Zolo. Okay. Zoloft. Oh, prescription drugs. Zoloft. So probably an awkward childhood then. Okay, moving on. All right, look. I did not call you, Google.
You be quiet, Google at once. I will summon you when I require you, wench.
I just get a text that says, Grayson really wants to say hi to Uncle Derek. So when you guys are rapping, let me know and I'll send him up.
Perf.
Anyway. Star Wars. The stuff. It happened. The things. There's a lot of news here. I'm going to try my best to keep it, what's the word? Succinct? Sure. But I'm probably going to ramble because if you've been here before, you know what happens. And I can't hold my excitement. There's the trailer we're talking about first, hands down, no question, is the Ahsoka trailer. You know how much, I'm not going to like beat this dead horse here, but you know how much this character, we've talked about it ad nauseum, means to me. I think she's incredibly well written. You want to know something crazy?
Come crazy? Yeah.
Something crazy.
What's come crazy?
You want to know something crazy? I got emotional thinking about what Filoni will get to do with the character that he created from nothing. And I'll tell you what I mean a little bit later, but because there's movie news to talk about that relates to all these characters, and I'm going to try to keep it relevant to the topic. But anyway, this trailer for the Ahsoka show, this show comes out again in August 2023. If I had to guess which should be more popular, this or Blue Beetle, probably going for this. This stars Rosario Dawson and apparently almost the entire crew of the Ghost from Star Wars Rebels. I mean, we've had live action Zeb, which we have to talk about from Mando later. We got to see his glorious chin hair. We got, and in this trailer, we see Sabine, we see Harris and Dula, Chopper, who has been in Rogue One already. He's already showed up in live action. He was a blink and you'll miss it when they show the Rebel base on Yavin. He's on the tarmac.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a throwaway Easter egg, but he was there. Also, in that battle above Scarif, the Ghost ship is there. I think that was a big thing that was all over the internet when it came out. They had the Ghost. And it looks very much like it's going to pick up where Rebels left off, albeit in the future and after the end of the Empire. And this trailer is epic. There are Sith here that I have never seen before. Baylan Skoll is the name of Ray Stevenson's Sith, and Shin Hati is the name of the other. Very, very typical Star Wars names. I like them. They're fine. They sound like they were in a galaxy far, far away. And I don't really know what's happening here besides Ahsoka is searching for Thrawn. She's going to fucking find him. Ostensibly, he's going to be with Ezra. And my life's going to be complete. And I can't wait for this fucking show. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's a really good trailer. Out of all the news, excites me the most because I'm just getting on that Rebels train. I just picked it back up. I'm on season 3 now, very early season 3. It was holiday weekend, a little crazy, so I couldn't watch a whole lot. But getting through the Darth Maul arc has been a really good time, and I just love all these characters very much, and I'm very happy to see that they're. Well, like you said, it just has to be crazy for Filoni. He made Clone Wars, whatever, how many years ago? I don't know when it premiered, and now like these people that he's always had in like an animated medium, he's actually bringing them to live action. It just has to feel fucking cool. No, it looked really incredible. It looks very epic. It gives me goosebumps when I watch it. The fucking score is very like atypical for a Star Wars trailer. It's like this classical, like, I don't know, like quartet or string quartet going on type thing. The 2 Sith in this, I'm assuming they're Sith, that maybe they're dark Force users. I don't know. The character design is like absolutely A1 god tier. They both look so fucking menacing and so cool. I think a lot of the Sith Inquisitors in the animated look cool, but then when you translate them into live action, they don't look so cool. It like kind of loses some of it. Not the case here. They look incredible. Every costume looks great. All the sets look awesome. And like I said, like I normally don't like just like fan service for the sake of fan service, but I know that Heir to the Empire, the book, was before the decanonization, was like, I read it way back when. I actually don't remember much of it, but I did read it and I remember it being an incredible book. And there's like this moment where they mention Thrawn and the music's like right up here. And then right when she says the next line, the music drops just so it hits. And she says, he's returning as heir to the Empire. And then the music swells. And I went like, like it was just like a hype moment. Just to see Filoni going. I know like people were really, I remember when the Disney sale went through, that was a big thing people were talking about, was that like Thrawn and Heir to the Empire were all decanonized, and I guess he's slowly just sort of bringing those things back. So to just literally name the book in this trailer was like, I don't know, I just thought that was really neat.
It was very cool.
No, I can't fucking wait. I got to finish Rebels because I feel like now I'm really like, even with Mando, like, with Zeb showing up, I was like, ooh, I better finish Rebels so that I don't get hit with a spoiler from like a cameo or like, so I'm working on it, but I'll certainly be done by the time Ahsoka comes out, but I don't know if I'll finish it by the time Mando's season 3 is done. But now looks incredible. Rosario Dawson, love you. Keep it up.
Honey.
Total sweetie. Out of everything, this is by far, everything else is either like or like cool, but this is the one thing that I'm really fucking hyped for. Really hyped for. And when I'm done Rebels, I'm going to go back and watch Clone Wars. I'm just going to fucking bite the bullet and I'm going to do it.
Nice.
And then Bad Batch.
So a couple follow-ups to what you just said. You mentioned the music. So the composer for the Ahsoka show is actually the guy who did the Rebels music, Kevin Kiner. They brought him back to do the Ahsoka show, which is awesome because he's an awesome composer. What was I going to say? Oh, Heir to the Empire. I have theories. I don't know if you want to hear them because I don't know. Like when I say theories, I mean like I'm pretty sure I'm right.
I don't want to hear them only because you know shit that I don't know about shows that I plan on watching. So like I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so season 3 I think is when they in Rebels is when Thrawn really makes an appearance.
They've been hinting at him for the past couple episodes, so I assume pretty soon.
Love him to death as a character. He's the tactician. He's the guy who doesn't have force powers, but he's still 10 steps ahead of you. Very cool. I don't want to give too much away about his character, but here's what I would say. There's in Heir to the Empire, which was a fucking amazing reference drop. And you're right. It was music swelling. And she said, there's been rumors of Thrawn's return. Beat, beat, beat. as heir to the Empire. You're like, woo! Yeah. Because I mean, it's sick. And I have a pretty, this is probably not exactly what they'll do, but I have a pretty interesting, I don't know, fan theory, I guess is what it is. Really, let's be realistic about how like the Ahsoka show will lead into this supposed movie that we're going to talk about in a second that Filoni's going to get to do, which sounds like it's going to wrap up a lot of these storylines and shows that he's been a part of through the years, or at least kind of have them be like a fun crossover event that has lots of money behind it, at least. There's a really cool angle to Thrawn. Again, I won't give it away. With potential larger again, I'm just not gonna talk about it. I just want you to catch up on Rebels and we can talk about it.
Okay.
I don't want to ruin anything, but yeah, I have Thrawn holds a really special place in my heart. I've read the Heir to the Empire books, and then when Disney bought Star Wars, Lucasfilm, and everybody was freaking out about the loss of some of these really beloved novels that took place up until that point in universe. Or were at least never written off by Lucasfilm. Yeah, so I guess that means they were real. That we were going to lose all this great storytelling and people wanted to adapt. They're like, why don't you just adapt the Heir to the Empire books? And I think that's the cheap way to go. They could have, but I think it would have been kind of cheap to do it this way. And to just like, it says so much about the characters that people are like, no, this character is so good. In such a great concept and an addition to this universe that like we're gonna slot him in. He's just gonna come at it from a different angle. It's almost like getting to read like an Elseworlds book about a superhero you love and seeing like another take on them.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for this show and really Filoni in general. And I might as well just talk about it. But there were 3 new Star Wars films announced, proper theater going live action Star Wars films, and interestingly enough, each is going to take place in a completely different era of the Star Wars universe. I think James Mangold, if I'm not fucking up the director, is going to be doing a Dawn of the Jedi film, like earlier than even the High Republic stuff that's happening right now. It's going to literally be the opening, the onus of the Jedi Order. And of course, that means the Sith as well. You don't get the dark without the light. That could go either way for me. I don't necessarily know how much I care about that stuff. I've read a little bit of lore and mythology around the beginnings of the Jedi and the Sith, but the meat and potatoes for me is always like centuries later when they're entrenched in the struggle, and like that's usually where all the really, for me at least, stuff comes from. So that's kind of like okay, whatever. I'll wait and see how it is. Like it could be great. It could be like, oh, I didn't realize I needed this in my fucking life, or it could be like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. I feel like you have to do for something like that that's in a totally new era and a totally ancient era. I think it's like literally 26,000 years BBY is when it takes place. I think that you need to totally flip the script and like not do your standard Star Wars thing and just do something almost like Lord of the Rings, where like the world is not yet totally known and there's just like these weird forces that, you know, people wielding these powers don't quite understand. I feel like something totally just different from what we know is, it's kind of the safest place to do it because who knows if they'll ever revisit that age ever again. So it's like, you might as well do something cool and interesting. And then if it doesn't work, all right, you've got all these other 9 eras that they defined the other day that you could just focus on them.
Yeah. I feel like it does really have licensed if they put legit talent behind it to do something incredible. Like you said, I mean, parts of it could feel like you're watching a fantasy, but science fiction. I mean, you know, it's these people who can move objects with their minds and shit. It could be really neat. But we don't know anything else about it. That's all we know is the premise is going to be Dawn of the Jedi from James Mangold, who's a great director. So could be, you know, really could be something to look forward to. The second of which is this Dave Filoni directed live action film that's going to take place in this era between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, and tie up all these series and storylines. It's the way they made it sound was tie up these sequels and storylines that he's been writing and co-writing over the years, including, you know, I'm sure there'll be Clone Wars references, Rebels, Ahsoka, Bad Batch, maybe, who knows? You know, I think did I say Star Wars Rebels? I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah.
And Mandalorian, and kind of all these stories are going to tie together in some way. That's going to be something worth watching in a movie. And again, I have theories about it, but I don't want to give it away. But tying all that in with Thrawn, and I just think this idea of like, look, we haven't heard, obviously, it's kind of how Star Wars is. They didn't plan all this out 20 years ago. They're filling in gaps because they realized that there's stories they could tell with these characters, which is okay. It's how they've always done it. But I feel like there's a really cool chance to tell like one of those stories where it's like, the thing we did probably saved the universe and none of you guys even knew about it. I think there's a cool angle that could be had there, along with they've been laying the foundation and groundwork for whether you like it or not. How Palpatine ends up cloning himself, all that stuff. Like they started off in Mandalorian with the Camino cloner guy in the first fucking season. But we don't know how in depth or how close it's going to get to touching that sequel trilogy stuff. And then finally, the third film, which is going to be after the sequel trilogy, it's going to be a Rey Skywalker. I hope they don't call her that. Led film 15 years after Rise of Skywalker. It's going to show Rey training a new generation of Jedi. Now, I've been rambling for a while, and I want your thoughts on all three of those, but specifically the Rey thing, because the other two we've already talked about. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you please. After you, sir.
But on top of you, naked in bed. I was going to say one quick thing before I, hand the mic over is that personally I like Rey as a character. I don't think that those sequel trilogy films were necessarily the most well written things on the planet, but I like her. I think Daisy Ridley's a good actor, and I don't know. I'll get your thoughts on it, and then I have a follow-up after you go. That's a lament on what could have been.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have, like, when they come out with the news that says that Daisy Ridley's coming back, there's nothing wrong with that. There was never anything wrong with her acting. There was never anything wrong with any of their acting for the most part. 90% of the people who were in the sequel trilogies, acted their horrible lines and character arcs very well. So it's not like, oh, Daisy Ridley's coming back, she sucked. Even you're right, the character of Rey wasn't like flawed in any way. She was just, in my opinion, written into a fucking corner that just nothing interesting really could have happened. So like, I feel like there's really an overwhelming majority of people who are outspoken about how they don't like. All right, so you have the toxic fan base and you don't want to appeal to them, but there are still a lot of people like me who are, who are not mad just because there's a female lead now, but just because I just didn't like the writing. I have a lot of friends and family who are not like weird incel people who are just like, I never even saw Rise of Skywalker. Like after Last Jedi, I was just done. I could just tell it wasn't my thing anymore. And I think they know that. And I think they know they have to bring people back in. And so hopefully they do, and they don't just stick with the same formula. Daisy was great. Rey was great. You could do really interesting things with her, even with, the arc that she had, which I thought was terrible. Yeah. I think something good could still come out of it. So I'm not immediately like, oh, I'm against this just because this character played by this actor is coming back. But I can't say that I'm there's no real reason for me to think that something good will happen. I just know there is plenty of reason that something good should happen.
Right.
So, we'll see is really all I have to say.
Also, aren't we due for a break? Like, aren't the good guys due for a break? Luke defeated the Empire and tried to build a Jedi Order, and he immediately had his shithead nephew fuck things up. Can we, like, I'm not saying like she should win hands down. No, there should obviously be strife and conflict. Let her establish the Jedi Order and then let it not fall apart immediately. Like, please.
Yeah.
Someone's got to rebuild the Jedi Order. For Christ's sake, there's been 3 of them for like the past 300 years. Okay. Here's my point. And I got to preface this very, very heavily. Derek, look at me. Prefacing.
Hit me
sounded way harsher than I intended. I'm not saying that The Last Jedi is a good film. I'm not saying that. However, I think in the sequel trilogy, the best thing that happened to the main protagonist, the best, I think, single-handed writing choice for Rey's character is that she was nobody. I thought the arc that she was not from a special bloodline, that anybody could have the Force.
We are right. I know exactly where you're going, and I 100% agree with what you're about to say.
That's why I love you. I'm suck you off. Yeah. Hands that look, The Last Jedi did a lot of stupid shit. It did a lot of stuff that was dumb goofy towns. But having her be a nobody from nowhere that had no time, she just was strong in the Force, and the idea that it was the Force like auto-correcting itself because there was so much evil with Snoke and Kylo Ren, and then here she is, and even to me, there's a lot of people complaining about her being like a Mary Sue. I never had a problem with her being good right off the bat for no fucking reason. But even then, if she's a nobody, and you're saying like, well, the Force is always striving to be in balance, it's us who make the scales tip one way or the other. It completely abolishes that because she's great because the Force fucking wills her to be great. She's the embodiment of the Force autocorrecting itself. And I like the whole, like, I don't have to be a Skywalker or a Kenobi or a fucking Palpatine. I was great. I might not have loved that movie, but I love the ending of Last Jedi, where there's a little kid who's sweeping a fucking broom and he looks up at the stars and you realize he has the feeling of adventure because even though we know Skywalker went on to become a big hero and his father was somebody important, when you first see Luke look up at the fucking sons of Tatooine, he's a nobody farmer from the middle of nowhere. And that's why people liked him, even though he was a whiny cunt in the first movie.
Yeah.
Because it was the idea that he's the everyman. He could be you who lives in your shitty life in your shitty small town and you could still be special. And then they ruined it by doing this generational bloodlines of royalty when that's not what the Force is about. And I'm ranting. Holy shit. I'm sorry.
I agree. I just have to stop you and tell you that I agree with you. When I saw The Last Jedi in theaters, and I remember when Force Awakens came out, that was what everybody talked about. Like, who is she? Who is she related to? Did Luke have a kid with whatever the chick's name was from the novelizations, Jada something, I can't remember.
Mara Jade.
Yeah, Mara Jade. And it was what everybody was talking about, and everybody expected it to pop up in The Last Jedi. And then there was just that line, like, do you want to know who you are? You're nobody. Your parents were drunks, or whatever he says. I can't remember.
And that whole part was so great with him forcing her to say it. He was like, say it out loud. Yeah. They were nobody.
It was awesome. It was so, I was like, yes, like, that's a subversion of expectations that was actually cool.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it felt so cheap when you go see Rise of Skywalker, and they're like, he was like, I was just kidding. I was just kidding. You stupid bitch. You're a Palpatine. I fucking hated it. Hated it. It's like everybody has to be related to someone, and everybody has to be brought back from the dead, and nobody's ever really gone. It's like, literally, they say that in the I didn't even mean to do that. They say that in the trailer. Nobody's ever really gone. It's so fucking awful, dude.
Yeah. I had less of it. Listen, I had much less of a problem with Palpatine being alive still than I think a lot of people, because I'm such a nerdy idiot, and I like Heir to the Empire, in which, guess what? He's still alive via clone bodies. So I knew that there was a path to get there. But the way they did it was 1000% a knee-jerk reaction to Rian Johnson's film. And he didn't, I got to be honest with you, he's a good director. He didn't deserve that shit. Not the level of vitriol that he got. That movie has problems. It's definitely not great or perfect, but it did some really good things. I think
it did do good things. I agree with that.
Anyway, and then I would have even been okay, Derek. I would have even been okay if she was a Kenobi. The only one I would be okay with, and I've told you this before, I'll say it one last time. I'm never saying this again. That's a lie. I'll probably say it 12 more times. Because it would have rhymed. It's like George Lucas. A Kenobi would have redeemed a Skywalker, as opposed to him feeling like he failed Anakin. And I would have been okay with her being Rey Kenobi. She even had the British accent for no reason, like Obi-Wan did. But if not a Kenobi, nobody, and I would have been super. And either way, I hope that they give her character something meaningful and juicy and awesome to do. And I hope that it's awesome. And I'm, we're the cynical nerd, and I know that Disney just wants to make fucking money, but I hope they at least put talented people behind it who care about keeping Star Wars going, because Star Wars is an aging fan base, and the only way it stays culturally relevant is if you make good fucking movies that kids and young adults care about into the next generation of people. So I have nothing but hope for it. I don't know if it's well placed or not, but good luck.
Good luck.
As if Disney needs it. Yeah, you just throw your buckets of money at it, and it will do.
And you make it back even when people hate it.
Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff to talk about. We spent a lot of time on that. Listen, a couple things. Skeleton Crew had footage shown off. That's the Jude Law starring show. It looked like it was an Amblin film mixed with Star Wars with some runaway kids. I kind of liked the leaked trailer from Celebration I sent you. Yeah. It looked fun.
It did. Not a lot to talk about. Law too.
He's a honey.
Yeah. I'd like to shake his hand.
I'd like to give him a firm handshake.
Yeah. Call him Mr. Law. Big fan of your work, Mr. Law. And then just leave it at that.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Law. I liked your summer abroad. I'm sorry. That was such a bad, brand new reference.
Yeah. That was.
Oh, God. It's been a long time.
Holy shit. You just took me back to my sophomore year. That was pretty.
In more ways than one. You want a rough handy?
I will not lick the palm. Whoa.
I will not lick the palm. Look, Dave Filoni announced a second season of Tales of the Jedi, that fucking animated show, dude. Who had no right to be as fucking good as it was. It was a tremendously good show that followed Dooku in various stages in his life and made that character turn from something that was laughable and throwaway to something that was tragic and deliciously well written. And Ahsoka, who's already got an awesome backstory and is awesomely written. And she got even more depth in character. And there's an awesome part where you realize that Anakin is training her basically to be able to stand up to him. And I'll never not love how poetic that is, that whole scene.
Even in the first episode when she's a baby and the tiger like brings her back and her family. I just love this kind of shit. I think it's her grandmother says like she is Jedi, and everybody like, it's not good news. Like everybody's like, oh, we have to give her away and never see her again. It's like that kind of shit you don't see in the movies. It's always like, I'm a magical lightning shooter person now. It's like, but you were abducted from your family against your will.
Well, there's it's like such a throwaway line in the Obi-Wan series where he's talking to young Leia on the transport when they're trying to escape. And he's like, I had a brother. I don't remember him. I wish that I did. And I'm like, that's so fucking sad.
Yeah.
You were kidnapped as a child. Ahsoka and her montrals. Yeah, that's what they're called. Don't give me her species is called I was saving this for you. Her species is called the Togruta, and their headpiece, unlike the Leku for the Twi'leks, are not just ornamental and for decorative purposes. The montrals, let me tell you, Derek, they have almost like a sixth sense, extrasensory perception. It's like an echolocation type thing. And it's the reason that when they're force sensitive, they make excellent Jedi.
Very interesting.
I'm done, I promise. There's a bunch of really, really angry basement dwellers who were mad that her montrals were not bigger because they get larger as the Togrutas get older.
I remember that. Yeah.
A bunch of, call me sweaty. Holy cow. Jesus. I mean, I am sweaty, but like, holy shit. Lars Mikkelsen, who voices Thrawn, and he's so good. I can't wait for you to see the Thrawn stuff, is confirmed to be Grand Admiral Thrawn in live action as well. I love when stuff like this happens.
Yeah.
He brings that character to life in the show, and he deserves to be able to do it in live action. So I'm happy for him. Good for you. What else? There's all kinds of shit. All kinds of stuff happened. I mean, I guess that's all for the Ahsoka stuff. We have the Visions trailer to talk about. We're not going to get through our main topics. We're probably going to end up talking about them next week.
Yeah.
The one last thing I will say, because I can't stop talking about my girl Ahsoka, is earlier, just to bring it all around, I mentioned that I got emotional thinking about what Filoni's going to get to do with his character. And what I meant by that was he created this character from nothing. He created it for Clone Wars. And when he created Ahsoka, everybody hated her because they were like, Anakin doesn't have a Padawan. He goes from episode 2 to 3. He's being trained by Obi-Wan. There's no time. That doesn't make any sense. How would that fit in with the timeline? And he knew he had a good idea, and he fucking buckled down and wrote an awesome character that everybody fell in love with. She's a fan favorite character now, and he has gotten to write her from like the beginning of her life, I would have to imagine, until the end. Because we know that she's not alive by the time, at least, of Rise of Skywalker. She's one of the voices Rey hears through the Force. So presumably she's passed at that point. It doesn't have to be, but I would say more than likely. And I'm thinking, like, if he's writing one big movie, and this is not my theory, this is just speculation, maybe she sacrifices herself in the movie that's like the end of her arc. He would literally it's like having a kid. You write so much of this person's like young years and upbringing and training, and then when they're an adult who's firm in their beliefs and confident, and then you get to, you know, write the great sacrifice at the end if he does. And I feel like it's just a beautiful thing for him. I'm really happy that he gets to do that and make way more money than I'll ever have any idea what it looks like.
There's something, the last thing I'll say about the trailer, which was like with the like 7 topics ago at this point, but we keep coming back to it because it was so good.
So good.
There was something really like rousing about the end where it's like, again, she has this super storied history that I am unfamiliar with like 80% of. And now I feel the pressure to watch it all and see it all. But it kind of like has this segment right towards the end where it goes through like all of, I guess, like her labels, like, it's just like outcast, and then flashes on the screen, and then rebel, and then warrior, and then Jedi. And it's very just like encapsulates that this woman has gone through so much. She's lived through so many worldly events that like she has been like redefined by her surroundings so much and had to adapt to, I don't know. I think you understand the sentiment that I'm going for. I don't know if I'm going to be able to articulate it very well, but I just thought that was such a cool ode to the past, however many years he's been writing her for. That was just, I don't know. It was just very like it's like a hair raising. I don't know. I thought it was neat.
And as you've seen in Rebels, I mean, she was the code. She was the fulcrum. She was the secret fucking agent. And that was a really awesome reveal when it happened, because when they started Rebels, no one knew what her status was. The last time we'd seen her was in Clone Wars. They didn't know she was dead or alive. It was just one of those cool things where everybody
the fight with Vader, where she slashes part of his mask away, and he like agonizingly says, "Ahsoka," and then she says, "I'm not leaving you again." I was like, oh God, I don't even know the whole story, and this is hurting me.
Thanks for that. I really appreciate it. Yeah, excellent. I really can't wait. There's the one just visually cool scene of when she slashes the windows to jump out with her lightsabers, and she's like, "Shah!" And I was like, "Oh my God, you're way cooler than I'll ever be." Okay, moving on. Star Wars Visions. We were pretty stoked on the first season because it was a gorgeous, visually stunning. There was like 3 or 4 standout episodes, and the rest I could do without. They just released a new trailer for volume 2 of this today, which is, I'm glad that it's the last day of the celebration, I guess. Mm-hmm. And this is going to come out May 4th, of course, on fucking May the 4th, the Star Wars holiday. It's a little less than a month from now. This trailer is breathtaking to me.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Like, I know that there's a lot of really cool animation in this. Right off the bat, the very first animation style that's on display, where this short that I believe is going to be called Sith, is like superbly gorgeous. It's like this 3D style, but it almost has like I gotta say, there's almost like a Spider-Verse thing to it. I don't know what it is, but the lightsabers have this quality to them. There's a little bit of like a painted look on some of the textures. Though they drag the lightsaber through the logo and it turns red. It looks really cool. And then there's like some Wallace and Gromit looking animation.
Yeah, like stop motion type stuff.
Yeah, some traditional anime. It looks fucking crazy.
I really hope Studio Trigger is doing another one. It really does look great. It looks very, very cool.
Studio Trigger. Let me find out, because I saw a list of studios and directors for it, and I don't remember if they were part of it. And the cast of crew of Star Wars Visions. Cartoon Saloon, Aardman, El Giri Studio, 88, Triggerfish.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
I don't see that studio.
Yeah.
I'm very, very sorry to tell you that.
That's okay. That's all right.
Funk Robot, Studio La Cache. I guess that's how you say it.
Sure.
Yeah.
La Cache.
Yeah, don't curse at me.
No, it looks very good. I agree. The first season was like somewhere kind of mid, but the ones that were good were very, very good. So I expect this will be the same. Looks like they ramped up the animation tenfold. I didn't expect for them to do something like that again. I figured it was like a one and done thing. So fuck yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, same thing with
about it.
Same thing with Tales of the Jedi. I'm totally okay with them throwing like a smaller budget as something and just saying like, do what you want to do. Do a story you've always wanted to tell that didn't really fit in anywhere else in the Star Wars universe. And, them coming back with something that's just incredible. I mean, for fuck's sake, like we mentioned it already, but the Dooku storyline where he's mourning Qui-Gon in
so
Coruscant.
Good,
it's so good. It had no right to be that good. You told me, you were like, dude, I gotta tell you, I started the first one and I know we were only gonna do 2, but I just finished all of them.
I watched it all in one sitting.
Just you telling me that made me, I was like, I'm going right now. I'll catch up in a minute. Okay, that's Visions 2, and we're ostensibly done with, I said ostensibly way too many times today, I feel like.
That's okay. That's the first one I even noticed, so it couldn't be too much.
Well, then you ostensibly aren't listening to me. We're done with the Star Wars stuff, as far as I can tell. We're going to talk about the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny trailer, which, again, I don't have a whole lot to say. I have to tell you just one thing about this trailer. It starts off, what is this Rolling Stones song? I don't know. I'll tell you what, I don't like it.
The one that goes, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, I hate that song.
Yeah, that one.
However, I said this in group chat. All you have to do to an iconic John Williams theme to me to make me feel like my friends are back is to slow it to like halftime and make it feel big and epic. And it'll just bring tears to my eyes. And this right about the minute mark, the action starts to kick in. And there's a lot of cool action shots in this. I will say it's been in every single trailer. But the one where he barely misses the car and is like thrown into a sidecar and something flies looks really cool. And it also doesn't surprisingly look like a 95-year-old man.
Yeah.
Doing a stunt for himself. It looks realistic. Harrison Ford, you bag of dirt.
Just die. It's okay.
Yeah,
we release you.
Go softly into that good night. This comes out June 30th. Harrison Ford, of course. What's her name? Phoebe Waller-Bridger. Antonio Banderas is in this. John Rhys Davis comes back. John Rhys Davis. A lot of cool actors. And I gotta tell you, you and I talked about this with the first trailer. And I said there was that line when he does the whip around the table, and he's got that, and then they pull out guns, and it's a goofy Indiana Jones thing, but it feels like Indiana Jones, and it's mostly because Harrison Ford actually looks like he's trying to act as like opposed to the past 10 years where he doesn't give a shit. I don't know if it's senility, if he's kind of melding all his
opposite Bruce Willis thing going on.
He's melding all of his past characters into his actual persona, and parts of him. I'm sorry, it's really rude to his friends and family. I hope he's not having trouble like that. But no, and in this trailer, there's a part at the end of this trailer where he says something like, "I've been looking for this my whole life," and my initial instinct was to eye roll, because to say something like that during like the 5th fucking Indiana Jones movie feels insane. However, he delivers it very well, and his voice cracks a little when he says it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, holy shit, I think he's trying. Whatever dollar bill sign barrier Harrison Ford has where you pay him enough and he actually gives a shit. They found the number. Yeah. And they
figured it out. It's done.
How did you feel about this trailer?
As someone who's never seen any of the Indiana Jones movies, it looks fun. I mean, it looks like a stupid good time.
We still got to do it.
I know. We do. You know what's funny? Everybody in my life thinks that like they're the one that I'm going to marathon them with. Like everyone I talk to, they're like, oh, we got to get that over with. And I agree with them 100. This is the first time I'm being forthwith about it. I want all of you to think that I'm going to do it with you, just so it lets a bunch of people down whenever I finally pick someone to do it with.
Does that mean it's not going to be me?
Well, we'll see.
Oh no.
We'll see. Time will tell.
I feel like I should have first dibs here, unless we're talking about Ron, because she sucks your
She's
dirty cock, and I'm not going to do that. Presumably, I don't know what your sex life is like. I do know that your cock is probably dirty, so it's
Oh, certainly.
One of those things is true. I don't. Yeah, it could. I don't know. We really have to get on watching them. It comes out June 30th. You're gonna have to make your watching partner decision soon. So, okay, whether it's me or not, now I'm gonna be indifferent about it until you make a decision.
Right. Don't worry about it. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah. But, whatever. No big deal.
Dates coming up.
Not pressuring you. I want you to feel free to make your own decisions. Listen, I'm on a time limit. I got to put Grayson to bed tonight. I want to talk about one week in review because it's the only thing I care to make sure people know about.
Let's do it. That
is that John Bernthal's back as the Punisher in the new Daredevil show. Yay, yay! Whoop, whoop. It's probably not the news article you thought I was going to go for, is it?
No, it's not.
What did you think I was going to go for?
I thought
the
you were
Moana
going to go
story?
for the. Yeah, let's cover that one real quick. Stupid idea. Who gives a shit?
Done. That's all we got to say. Yeah. Dumb. The movie's 6 years old. Why do you need to remake it with the same guy who voiced that? Whatever. I know why. Because The Rock. He wants money.
Yeah.
He's money hungry. His muscles crave protein, like his brain craves dollars.
Yeah, protein's
dollar bills, y'all. That's true. It's expensive. Kevin Feige and Patty Jenkins' Star Wars movies are shelved. They are not calling them canceled, but they're calling them shelved. That would be her Rogue Squadron film and Kevin Feige's unnamed picture. They're apparently not moving forward right now. Who knows what that means for the future? What do you? Last of Us finale?
Let's do Last of Us, and then I feel like at this point, Mandalorian, we could almost just wait until it's done and talk about it as a whole.
Yeah, there's only 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're gonna want to bring it up next week.
Oh, because of right.
I know something.
Right.
I know something.
I got you.
I know 2 somethings.
Okay. Oh, 2 of them. Now
one of them's a name drop. One of them's visual.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Last of Us has been over for several weeks. Obviously, we've been off. I mean, look, it was just a great show.
It was very good.
It was great. Samantha's told me twice since the show ended that she's like, I kind of want to rewatch it, which is a testament. Yeah. I can always tell when Samantha really enjoys something because she asks, she's like, I kind of want to go back and revisit that. And that's coming from someone who knew what happened. Like, I beat the game and loved it so much that I forced my poor sweet wife to listen to me tell her how good the story was and like why. It's time she'll never get back.
Right. Ever.
But she gave it to me because she loves me.
That's how I am with my fantasy books. I have no one to talk to them about, so I just unload on Veronica. Yeah, exactly.
I have to tell you a story, and she's like, what? And you're like, about, I don't know.
I'm like, first I have to explain the world and the politics of the world, so just sit down.
First, you have to know how they shoot rocks and metals with their hands.
I thought it was excellent. I thought it was a great, I feel like some of it towards the end, like a lot of people were crying pacing issues, and I didn't agree with that for like 80% of the show. And I do think towards the end, some of it was, I don't want to say rushed, but it didn't sort of simmer in the way that it should have. But I don't think it was anything that broke the show. I thought it was a fucking amazing show. I think it's one of the best shows I've watched in a while. I did play the game on PC despite all the issues afterwards, just to sort of like, it's been a while since I played that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to sort of gauge, like, have a proper, like, what do I prefer over the other? And frankly, I do prefer the game over the show. Not that it matters. They're both great. They're great in different ways for different reasons.
Yeah.
I think they communicate the same point in a different way. But overall, I would say that the game has more intrigue tied up in it. I think that Joel is more of a ambiguous character in the game. Yeah. Whereas in the show, because you get a sweetheart like Pedro Pascal, you kind of have to make him still ambiguous, but lean more, like, favor the good guy. I just want to help people thing more, just to make people like him, because it's a TV show and an actor that people love to see. So I think that the Joel in the game to be more interesting. The Ellie in the game is more interesting and more layered. A lot of the decisions they made to divert from the game, I still support. I think that even though the Bill segment of the game is so fun, I find the story told in the show to be, by miles much better. Things like that. Henry and Sam, largely the same. I think I still favor that scene in the game just because probably it's the first exposure that I had to it, so I kind of knew it was coming with the show. Again, it overall goes to the game, but it's not by very much. They're both incredibly good. I'm so happy the show was made, and I'm so happy that I kind of watched it with like well, the show's called The Cynical Nerd. I was kind of a cynic about it. I kind of wanted to shit on it. I sort of wanted it to be bad, and I fucking love being proven wrong. And this is absolutely a case where I was proven wrong. It was a bang-a-lang.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's difficult to compare them in certain ways because you spend so much time inhabiting these characters, even if the magic is taken away because you're in an area so long they start repeating lines. Like that's happened to me before. But you spend so much time with them, even if it's just running around looting stuff, and you get these big moments, but then you just get so much time. I spent 40 hours with them in the game, whereas in the show I spent 8 or 9 or however many episodes it was. And so it's difficult to compare them in a way that feels fair. I definitely agree that some of the story changes in the show were for the better. Of course, things you said, I won't tread over them just for the sake of, retreading them. But the ending to me still had the same impact that the game did, where it's just heartbreaking. Like, again, we've talked about the kind of through line of this entire show of, love is capable of making people do horrible things. And obviously this decision is the culmination of that. And I really like, how they how they made sure what scenes were the most important to capture. Like when he goes to shoot, what's her name in the parking garage, and they juxtapose it against her in the backseat of the car. Like that didn't happen that way in the game. It happened in chronological order. You kill Marlene and then you get in the car and drive away, and he lies to her. And hi.
You kiss Marlene? You hug Marlene, you were saying?
Oh, yeah.
What up? Yeah. What up, dude?
Hello.
How's being a big brother? Do you like it a lot?
I'm sick, so I can't touch him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you'll feel better soon.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. Don't touch the mic. Crazy animal child. All right. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Say bye. Say hi to baby Odin for me. Oh, say bye, baby Odin.
I'll pet him like this for you.
Very nice. I like that a lot. You're just growling at me. All right, go be a good boy.
No.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're gonna stay with me. We gotta.
I'm gonna stay here for the night.
Oh, that's really sweet. We gotta finish talking about stuff no one cares about but us, and then I'll be down to put you in bed. Okay? Wave bye.
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 Bye. He said bye. All right, I'll be down in just a minute. Okay? My goodness. He's dancing the night away. Downstairs, please. Bye. He's saying bye to you. Bye. Anyway. Anyway, when you shoot Marlene, they do it out of chronological order, and it has a different impact, I think, in the show than in the game. It's hard to transition back to such serious made-up topics after a small child just growled, "Hello, baby," in the microphone. And there's a really cool moment, again, pulled from the game. They're not over here rewriting the story or anything, but they're on the hill. They see Jackson in the game for the first time. This is their happy ending. This is their live your life out, even though we know what Joel just did.
Mm-hmm.
And Ellie makes a choice. She goes, you promised me you're telling me the truth about the firefights. And he says, yes, obviously bullshitting. And she chooses to believe him.
Mm-hmm.
She very clearly knows that he's not telling her the truth, or at least not the whole truth. I doubt that she assumes he murdered everybody, but she definitely understands that he's like not being truthful about something. And she decides, she's like, what happened? And he says, you tell me the truth. And he says, yes. And then she looks at him and then she just goes, okay. And you can tell that she's like, whatever it is, we're here. And I'm choosing to believe him. And, and that's obviously a decision that, spoiler alert, comes back to haunt her, I think, later on. Mm-hmm. And I like the show a lot. And I think it has a lot of potential. One of the pieces of news we had this week was that the showrunners were saying they weren't going to restrict part 2 to one season of the HBO show. Because they're definitely doing a season 2 because it was bonkers successful.
Yeah.
I think that's the right choice. Because 2 is such a big game with a lot of perspective shifts. Spoiler alert if you haven't played it, where you play as different characters on different sides of this confrontation. And I also think that splitting it up into more than one season would allow them, honestly, to keep Pedro around for probably a little bit longer than he otherwise would. Again, heavy spoil. But look, if you're here, you know the deal. There's literally a warning in the beginning. And because I said beginning and now it's the end, that's full circle. So,
hey,
we did it. We're back, baby. Where can everybody find you?
They can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Dr. GloomMD. That's DRGLOOMMD. But you said we're back, so I feel like the thumbnail should have something to do with that dinosaur animated movie called We're Back. Just a thought.
There's a dinosaur animated movie called We're Back?
Oh, I'm sorry you never saw that, about the alien who feeds the cereal to the dinosaurs and then you turn into like cartoon goofy dinosaurs.
Holy shit, how did I miss this? John Goodman's in it.
Yeah, dude.
All right, well, we'll definitely pick the... Absolutely. I'm going to Photoshop some goofy looking headshots in there.
Hell yeah.
Oh, there's a kid too. Oh, that looks good. That sounded really fucking weird. There's a kid that looks good. No, I meant whatever. There's a cool shot I just found of a young kid in like a pterodactyl, maybe. I don't know. I never saw the movie. 1993. Maybe I'll have to go watch it.
You should.
You can find me Twitch and Twitter at Crispy Mana. I have not been streaming, but I want to. It's just tough. I had a little newborn baby downstairs.
Yeah, give him a break. God damn, get off his ass.
Yeah,
just had a kid.
We've the Cynical stream is back. However, I'm an asshole, and that video is still not up. We were back last weekend with Ready or Not, which is not our typical Cynical stream content.
Yeah.
It's a first person shooter, but it does require teamwork.
Yeah,
and we had
some very good time.
we had some very fun rounds, and I'm interested now that we're kind of learning the language of the game to try some more out. Hopefully this weekend we'll see how things work out with our schedules.
Yeah.
But that's it. If I didn't do all the shilling, but Twitch and Twitter and TikTok and I don't know, we're all over the place. You can
just walk in a direction. We're out there. You'll find us.
Just pick a direction and walk that way. Eventually, you'll run into something we've ruined.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
See ya.